Welcome, Salesforce Live viewers. It's great to have you today. My name is Daniel Incandela, and I'm a member of the ExactTarget Marketing Cloud. For the next 15 minutes, we plan on dazzling you with everything you need to know within the world of digital marketing. There will be laughter, there will be tears, there will be epiphanies, but most importantly, there will be knowledge. Speaking of knowledge, I am joined with two very good friends and colleagues, Scott Roth, VP of Global Marketing at ExactTarget, and Kyle Lacy, Head of Content and Research at ExactTarget. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.
Kyle, do you want to say a little more about your role and also what you're doing holding an iPad?
Yeah, so the iPad we'll start with first. If you guys that are watching want to tweet questions, we're probably going to take some questions at the end. So if you want to tweet to hashtag Salesforce Live, all one word, we're going to try to take those questions and try to answer them. It could be anything related to marketing in general. Globally, anything, we're going to talk about it. My job is basically content, like Daniel said, and I don't think I'm going to wax any more than that. So it's Scott.
I am VP of Global Marketing for the ExactTarget Marketing Cloud. I get the great pleasure of being both a digital marketer and a marketer, leading a marketing organization, but also we're really proud that we get to work with some of the best brands from around the globe. So we get to work with marketers on a daily basis. So I love my job and really excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
That's great. So this is my first Dreamforce. Wow.
Yeah.
It's vast, a little intimidating, but mostly inspiring. What are your early thoughts of Dreamforce 2013?
This is actually my sixth Dreamforce. I came to Dreamforce 5 times as a partner. ExactTarget was a partner prior to being acquired by Salesforce, so it's my first time here, obviously, as an employee. It's amazing to me. I think my favorite part about Dreamforce is just all of the companies that are here. They're literally the best brands in the world, all converging here in San Francisco. So many access to great business leaders, great technical leaders, great marketers. So I love what's happening at Dreamforce and really excited to be able to participate. And I think what's really cool about this year is this is the year where the marketing line of business has truly hit critical mass at Dreamforce. There are marketers all over the place. I don't think we've seen that here before in these numbers, and I think this is going to be an amazing trend as Dreamforce carries on.
And Kyle, you're here, but you also led some sessions. What are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, the coolest thing about all this is just watching a lot of the keynotes and looking at the technology, especially smart technology, and what's happening in regards to the Services Cloud keynote yesterday, where the guy walked in with the Google Glass and it's co-collaboration and everything was happening all through the system, right? And I think it's just cool to see all of the data that we've been talking about for years finally getting to the point that it's in one system and it's delivering it out to consumers as well as employees and helping us all be one cohesive unit, right? And it's just cool to actually come and see that because you hear it a lot. And as somebody that speaks at a lot of conferences, we hear it a lot too from speakers, but it's just cool to see it and to be around the people that are making that happen, especially from the ExactTarget side, right, which we are all familiar with, but also from the Salesforce side as well as all the partners that are here. And that's what's really, it's just awesome to walk around and hear people talk, not like it's kind of creepy that I'm kind of listening to people while they're talking and they don't really know. But it's just cool to hear those conversations and how people are collaborating and building on top of the platform and really making inroads into using data and technology.
I'm gonna watch what I say around you.
Yeah, I'll tweet it. I'll tweet it for sure.
Well, we actually saw our own CEO give a product keynote today on the ExactTarget Marketing Cloud. If you were to digest that for our viewers, what did they need to know from that keynote this afternoon?
Why don't you take that first?
I mean, I think Scott Dorsey did a fantastic job of really summarizing the big trends that we're seeing across marketing organizations, big and small, here in the US as well as globally. And that is that marketers are really challenged with 3 big things. First, they've got to get a common view of their customer. Marketers typically have data in tons of different systems, and in order to be effective, you've got to be able to bring it together so that you can really see that holistic picture of the customer. The second trend is really understanding the journey that your customers are going on as they're using your products, evaluating your products, just living their daily lives and figuring out, okay, how can we as a marketing organization interact with a customer in appropriate ways? And then lastly, I think the third trend that he talked about was how do we as marketers deliver content that is personalized and relevant so that we engage with those customers at the right place and at the right time and on the right device. Those are three big things that marketers are challenged with, and it was great to see Scott really kind of paint that clearly and really show how the ExactTarget Marketing Cloud and the rest of Salesforce is here to help marketers solve those challenges.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times when you look at the communication that's happening on Twitter while Scott was speaking and Scott McCorkle, the Scotts were speaking, I think a lot of it had to do with the CMO and the CIO and the sales teams and everyone coming together into one system, right? And I think a lot of our conversation has been around how does information technology work with marketing and vice versa. And I think that has been an overwhelming conversation here, as well as in the keynotes, that has more to do with how do we work better together so we can utilize technology to be more responsible when we're communicating with customers as well as with employees. And it was just cool to see the product and McCorkle go through the product, and I can't wait for next Dreamforce in general, and I'm here right now, so it's very cool.
Great. Let's talk about the marketer. I always talk about three things that they should be doing, and I always say that marketing should be authentic, should be approachable, should be fun, because we are marketers. What are three things that you would tell to any marketer in terms of what they should be doing or advice that you would give?
I mean, you said it, personalization. I mean, I think that we've talked a lot about personalization, and if anybody's a marketer or a communicator, you've read The One-to-One Future from Peppers and Rogers, which was like 1993, where they talked about personalization and one-to-one communication. But I think we're finding the point where we're using data, and we have data, enough data to effectively do personalization, where we have clients that are sending 3 million emails a day with 2,000 to 3,000 different permutations, right? So number one, I think it's personalizing content, because no matter what size business you are, you can get there. Number two is the connection of the channels. Like, are you acquiring email addresses through social? Are you acquiring mobile phone numbers through social, and vice versa? And number three would be just listening. I think social media has not hit its stride yet. I think it's still going to be growing, and brands have to be listening effectively. And if you connect all those things together, email, mobile, social, web, all the tools that we have, I think you can be extremely effective in 2014 and even beyond.
Yeah, I think one thing I'd add on to that is I think it's really important that marketers think about all the things that Kyle talked about, but also automation. It's not possible for us as a marketing department to have that one-to-one engagement with everyone if we're doing everything by pushing buttons and really trying to connect with people. We don't have enough staff to have people who really dig in, so you've got to rely on automation. And that was another thing, just to go back to the keynote, I thought was really interesting to see both Adam Blitzer, who heads up Pardot, and Scott McCorkle, who heads up product and strategy for the ExactTarget Marketing Cloud, talking about how automation is really driving this next wave of innovation, both on a B2B perspective, but also a B2C perspective. And I think that's an interesting thing that as marketing organizations we're starting to see is a lot of the same practices that you may have seen in B2B carrying over to B2C, and the same and vice versa. Things that B2C brands would have done in the past, business-to-business brands are really starting to roll out that same playbook as well. So it's really interesting to see that convergence of B2B and B2C, and I think automation is a common theme that's driving the two together.
Well, I think it's ridiculous. It's, well, not necessarily ridiculous, but I think that it's interesting that we keep pushing this B2B and B2C message, because honestly, it is communicators and business owners and business executives and everybody in that realm that is using data and content to try to sell an idea. I don't care if you're selling a service or you're trying to sell a product. Now, there's nuances in there that are different, but there will come a time, in my opinion, where we're just selling something to somebody instead of it being a business, and I hope that it's sooner than later.
At the end of the day, if you're in business-to-business sales and marketing, you're still selling to people.
Right, absolutely.
People make the decisions, not overall companies.
Absolutely.
All right, so this is live. We're going to turn this over shortly. So one last question. I'm going to put you on the spot. Start with you, Kyle. What is the next big thing for digital marketing?
Oh man, I'm going to go off a deep end, and I'm fascinated with this idea of wearable technology. Even going as far as if you remember Minority Report, where Tom Cruise is running into the Gap, and he's being chased by cops because I think he killed somebody or something, and his eyeball gets scanned, and the entire store changes based off of his buying behavior, right? And that idea that you have the things you're wearing and the things that are a part of you are smart technology, and they're helping you in what you do is extremely fascinating to me, and I don't think we're that far off. I think Google Glass is the beginning of that, but I don't think we're that far off from having something that your jacket tells you that when it needs to be washed. Right. Like, that's kind of creepy, but...
All right,
real quick.
So he went big picture. I'm going to go very practical for all the marketers out there. You have to mobilize your marketing, and you have to mobilize everything. The majority of website visits, the majority of people reading emails, it's all happening on a mobile device. And if you haven't thought about how can I make all of my marketing mobile, even if it's just my website or my emails, how do they render nicely on a mobile device, you're missing an opportunity, and your competitors are going to do that very quickly. And I think that's a huge opportunity, and also a big challenge for marketers if they don't start to mobilize their marketing immediately.
Kyle and Scott, thank you very much. Salesforce, thanks so much for having us. If you liked what you heard today, please visit our blog at exacttarget.com/blog. But thanks again. Take care.